Welcome back to the channel where we track down, body snatch, and react to nothing but the wildest videos I can find on the internet. So whether you like it, love it, or hate it, we're going to react to it. And today we're going to be doing a deep dive into some of the conspiracy theories around the Titanic. So let's go ahead and get after it. See what's going on these conspiracies.
And then in 1913 they implemented the income tax. One later in 1913 they passed the 16th Amendment, and then they created the Federal Reserve System.
And it's so crazy that everybody that was against the Federal Reserve was on the Titanic. And the guy that wanted the Federal Reserve was on the Titanic also and said, "Oh, I got to make a phone call," and got off the boat.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, dude! Shut up! Really?
No!
Dude.
And I didn't know this either. But a little bird came and told me some things. My wife. For entertainment purposes only. But she came and told me that some of these conspiracy theories, and it kind of blew my mind. Because I didn't even know these things existed around the Titanic. So that's why we're doing a deep dive into it today.
There's a whole conspiracy around the Titanic. You fucking with me?
No.
Oh my God! It's like it's in the like.
Just drive it into the iceberg.
If you want to understand like the robber baron period to now is my favorite chunk of history, because like there's this whole economic and like global system that gets established in like the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Gilded Age.
It's like the same five guys that are involved with like Rockefeller's just everywhere,
John C.
doing
Money.
everything. Yeah.
J.P. Morgan, Cornelius Vanderbilt.
For the love of
John
me,
Rockefeller.
I can't remember who the guy was that wanted the Federal Reserve, but he was like petitioning for
Probably
it.
John
like,
Jay, if it was any of them.
John C. Money.
But he's like involved in the building of the Titanic and the Lusitania, and then the Titanic is the unsinkable ship, and this
We hear that name an awful lot, don't we, guys? The Rockefellers.
flagship like thing. So he
Hey, let me know in the comments some of the other names we hear.
loads all of his
I'm
buddies
sure
on this
I know
boat.
most of them.
All of the guys he's doing these big banking
some of them,
economic
at
like
least.
moves with, and they're all the ones that don't want the Federal Reserve. And then literally day of, like hours before it takes off, he goes, "Oh shit," and just leaves the boat.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Oh right. And just walked off the Titanic.
In 1912, the White Star...
Coincidence? Come on, guys. If you know, you know. And I know this is for entertainment purposes only like I just said a few minutes ago. But come on, man.
line had a problem. They had two brand...
The richest people in the world? What is it? 4 out of 5 of them sank? Come on.
new sister ships docked in Belfast, the Titanic and the slightly older Olympic. They were meant to be identical, almost. Months earlier, the Olympic had collided with a warship, the HMS Hawk. The damage to her keel was catastrophic. She was uninsurable, and the repairs would bankrupt the company. J.P. Morgan needed a way out. A plan was hatched in shadows, an insurance fraud on a massive scale. Why pay for repairs when you can sink the damaged ship, call it an accident, and collect the full insurance value of a brand new vessel? Over a single weekend, under the cover of darkness, the switch happened. Linens, china, and lifeboats were swapped. The nameplates on the bows were changed. The pristine Titanic became the damaged Olympic. Hay missed one detail. The Olympic had a narrow, cluttered promenade deck with uneven portholes.
Ooh.
The Titanics were evenly spaced. Photographs of the ship that sailed show the Olympic's windows. On April 10th, the ship the world thought was the Titanic departed Southampton. But
Also, let me ask you this. Outside of the insurance thing, I thought earlier that it could be, you know, how impressive would it be for the captain to hit one of those things and just totally annihilate it with the boat while you got all these billionaires on the boat with you? I mean, that'd be one reason I would be trying to clip a iceberg. And the other reasons is the thing with the binoculars. If you guys know, you know. If not, we're gonna
she was
find out.
already broken.
They say the Titanic was a tragedy, but some believe it was a reset. April 1912, the ship sinks. On board, some of the wealthiest men in America, and the strongest, opponents of a centralized bank. John Jacob Astor IV, richest man in the world at the time. Isidor Straus, co-owner of Macy's, also opposed the Federal Reserve. Benjamin Guggenheim, another power player, gone. And who survived? J.P. Morgan, the man funding the ship, who canceled his trip last minute. Just over a year later, the Federal Reserve Act is passed.
Hey, I don't know if you guys like even put two thoughts into this, but man, that dude looks horrible. He looks bad right now, man. Or then, he looked bad then for sure. I wonder if they all seen it in real time, watching it go down, thinking, man, dude, this dude is scumbag.
Coincidence? That's the word they use when something's too big to question. You're watching Comment War 002. The Titanic was just the first domino.
The Titanic was actually a hit job.
For real?
Yeah, Titanic was a hit job. So basically what happened was all the richest people in the world in 1912 were supposed to be on this ship. You had the Rothschilds and their basically lackeys at that time who were called J.P. Morgan. There's also another guy who was on that ship. His name was Mr. Uster. He was the richest man in America at that time. He owned 40% of every mortgage in America. Imagine, 40%. This guy's a gangster. I'm not saying he's a good guy. But basically, this guy was in the way of the Federal Reserve. They wanted to create a central bank, the Rothschilds. They can't just take someone out of that importance. You know, this guy's just too important to shoot. Just can't kill him. So what they basically did, they made this big deal, you know, everyone going on the ship, and then in the last seconds, all the Rothschilds people exited the ship. Like right before it's about to take off.
Was it all of his people or was it just him? Come on, if it was all of his people, you guys already know. You guys already know. I mean, if it was just him, maybe there was a slight possibility it was coincidence, but nah, not if you're taking your whole team off the damn ship.
Ship sunk. The richest guy in America died on the ship. All the politicians who he was basically bribing, all that money evaporated. So they went all to the Rothschild side, and then next year, 1913, they started the Federal Reserve Bank because there was no more opposition to it.
Have you heard the theory of the Titanic and the Federal Reserve? Well, here it goes.
We hear it.
So on the Titanic, there's some extremely wealthy passengers like J.P. Morgan, John Rockefeller, and the Rothschilds. But then you have Jacob Astor.
Rockefeller and the Rothschilds. Those were the two names that I've heard over and over and over and over and over. It seems like the downfall of our country is like, it boils down to you boys, you know what I mean? Not you as in my guys, you as in you Rothschilds and you other boys. You know what I mean? You know who I'm talking about.
The wealthiest man in the world at the time. He owned about 40% of all mortgages.
We heard that
one. He was a Freemason who was very opposed to the idea of a central bank. Whereas J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, and Rothschild strongly supported the idea of a central bank. So Jacob Astor was the only one standing in the way of a central bank at the time. Coincidentally, the morning the Titanic was supposed to set sail, J.P. Morgan, some Rothschilds, and others quietly exited the ship without any explanation. 5 days later, Titanic slams into an iceberg, and it starts to sink. And even though Jacob Astor is the wealthiest man in the world, he still can't find a seat in the lifeboat, and he ends up sinking with the ship.
No. That was a totally wrong statement right there. That man gave up his seat on the lifeboat, just so you know.
After, these guys become the wealthiest men in the world, and without Jacob Astor standing in their way, the next year in 1913, on Jekyll Island in Georgia, the Federal Reserve Act was signed into law, paving the way to print money out of thin air and completely control our monetary system. Was this a coincidence or a conspiracy?
You already know, man.
Because I'm trying to tell you.
What's the purpose behind it, though, man? I mean, is it just to enrich themselves with money? I mean, that ain't enrichment. Enrichment is finding love and being with somebody you give a shit about, you know? That's enrichment.
People didn't know the Titanic.
Family's enrichment.
Mm-hmm. They didn't know, and they monetized the shit. Mm-hmm. That's why I say it's so much hidden knowledge, and people caught flack when I said it.
Oh, and then even after the ship sank and they became the richest people in the world, they monetized that thing, like he's saying, man. They still get money off of that ship being sunk.
But a lot of people liked it when I said that if the regurgitated version of the Bible that they gave us today helped black people or any people get out of their current situation, they would have never introduced it to us. which is true.
Right.
Because the Vatican has so much fucking like books, all type of architect. They have real knowledge that a lot of people ain't even ready for. But they give us this.
Right.
Anytime your enemy gives you something, it's not for your use, bro.
They gave us shackles.
That's all it is.
Wow.
And that's, see, listen,
Wow.
the Bible, like I say, the Bible is what keep broke people from killing rich people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's the glue. You see what I'm saying?
What?
It's a belief system, bro. Everything is built around belief system.
Did you know some?
Hey, I understand what he's saying, man. So, if it wasn't for the Bible, okay, a lot of people wouldn't have those guidelines to live by, and they would just wild out. A lot of people need that structure. Those type of people need to be in our militaries. Never mind. Can you imagine that? A bunch of Christians going over to fight a war? Can we just sign this treaty, please? I mean, that's who, honestly, that's who we need in our military.
Some people believe that the Titanic was actually sunk on purpose. Yeah, they say it wasn't just a freak accident. According to this theory, the Titanic was deliberately sent to the bottom of the ocean as part of a massive financial conspiracy. The theory claims that the real target wasn't the ship, it was the wealthy people aboard. You see, some believe that a group of elite bankers, including J.P. Morgan, wanted to get rid of certain powerful figures in the banking world, and the Titanic disaster was the perfect cover-up. But here's where it gets really strange. They say the ship wasn't even the Titanic. Instead, it was switched with another ship, the Olympic, which had been damaged earlier and was considered no longer fit for service. Some conspiracy theorists claim the owners deliberately sank the Olympic in place of the Titanic, knowing it would cause the ultimate distraction. And get this, J.P. Morgan, the man who owned the Titanic, was supposed to be on board. But right before the trip, he mysteriously canceled, citing an illness. Was it just a coincidence, or did he know what was about to happen? Some think this was all planned out in advance, a sinister plot to eliminate enemies and take control of the financial world. Now, let's be clear, this is just a theory, but it's one that's been around for decades. There's no hard proof, but the strange coincidences make you think. So, what do you think? Could the sinking of the Titanic have been orchestrated, or is this just another wild conspiracy theory that we can't ignore?
Man, you guys got to ask yourself that, you know.
You were told the Titanic sank.
Well, I'm telling you, you know, first of all, let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys believe J.P. Morgan had that set in play, put into action, and actually executed the plan. Let me know. Because I tell you what, me personally, like I said, entertainment purposes only, I believe it. I believe that shady ass dude took those people for everything, including their existence. Let me know. And I think that's it, guys. If you guys want to do some search on some videos about aliens, go ahead and check this video out up here. If you want to do some check into some videos about some ghosts or other government cover-ups, maybe you could check out this one right here. But as you guys know, as always, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, much love.